Going everyone, I wanted to show you the new project here. This is a 1986 Jeep Grand Wagoneer with the 5.9 liter 360 AMC V8. I picked it up. You know, the interior is pretty clean, and it was a okay running and driving car. The carburetor and stuff was not idling correctly, and it felt like it needed a tune-up or something. And it had an exhaust leak. As you can tell, I've already ripped a good portion of it apart and started doing some work on it and stuff. I had to do some long, hard thinking on this if I wanted to restore it, or if I wanted to take that engine out, which is not known for great performance or fuel reliability at all, and resto mod it. I've decided to go ahead and just restore it. It's such a good vehicle. It's got some minor body damage. Previous owners, for some reason, installed some aftermarket mirrors, so I'll have to fill that in and just do a whole paint job and put the vinyls and stuff back over it. So the first day I got this vehicle, I had to go through and retrace all the vacuum lines. The smog was removed by the previous owners, but they left a lot of vacuum leaks. So after I fixed all of the vacuum leaks, I was able to get the cruise control. You can see that right there. And the four-wheel drive, and that's the vacuum booster for the four-wheel drive right there. I got both of those working. I did get the vehicle to start running a lot better with the vacuum advance timing and things of that nature. Got the carburetor to work a lot better just by adjusting the choke, and it appears that carburetor has never been rebuilt in the 130,000 miles of this vehicle. So it's probably going to get rebuilt before I finish this project. The radiator, which, as you notice, was missing, had a seeping crack at the top of the radiator tank, so it's over at the radiator repair shop getting fixed. Power steering gearbox was seeping and leaking, so I pulled it. I've got a rebuild kit coming for that, so I will show you all how you rebuild those. Save yourself about $120 doing it yourself if you do it right. If you don't do it right, well, you've created a mess. This is the passenger side exhaust manifold. I pulled it because there's an exhaust leak. Well, the bolts, especially back here, these are 1/2-inch bolts and these are 9/16. These were finger loose. I was able to get a socket on them and just turn them. Flip it over. They did not have a gasket, so that's why these were leaking. So I'm gonna have to pull the driver's side off today. I've ordered gaskets for it. The oil pan and transmission are also leaking, so I've ordered a transmission and filter kit for the pan, and the engine I've ordered an oil pan gasket and a rear main seal. I'm pretty positive that it's the rear main seal, but we'll just do both to be sure. We're down there. The exhaust is pulled, so it's just a little bit of a tedious process. This is actually the first Grand Wagoneer I've ever messed with, so it's pretty exciting. You can see the old CJ there. That's the daily driver. But the interior on this vehicle is, besides that one crack right there, is actually in pretty good shape, except for some reason they pulled this headliner and they threw the headliner board away, and this one has a sunroof. So I've ordered the material for a headliner, and I'll have to figure that out when it gets here to know exactly what's going on there. This is the other problem. The lock cylinders just fall down. But as you can see, you know, it's 130 miles, 130,000 mile Jeep. So it's going to leak. It's going to have a few other little problems and such. But I mean, otherwise the interior everywhere around is pretty clean. Could use a good cleanup. I do have the power mirrors. The previous owners were nice enough to give me those, so I will be putting those back on. You know, I don't know if you guys could tell this, but there's, right here is some rust. And it's hidden behind this vinyl, but you can see that it's bubbling, and if you feel it, it's really rough. So that's pretty much why I'm going to end up doing a whole paint job. That, the top clear coat's fading. I've got your typical rust spot there. So, and then right here is probably the biggest damage to this vehicle, is this rear quarter panel, which I could chop out and replace. And luckily enough, most of this damage is contained to this panel, this quarter panel. Not too much of it is moved into here. So I should be able to cut this out, do some metal stud pulling, and get this back straight to where this light mounts flush. So look for updates, guys. Alright guys, we got the other exhaust manifold off the driver's side on this Grand Wagoneer. This side did have the exhaust gaskets, as you can see, but they're pretty torched, so already ordered a whole new set. Those will be here tomorrow or the day after. I'd have to check Amazon's tracking, but I'm gonna go get the radiator for that, so I can get it back on the road and take it to some car shows and maybe do a little off-roading this weekend.